paradoxical power confronting this universal ache lies in its potential to foster profound connection when we acknowledge that everyone, at some level, experiences this fundamental aloneness. A powerful sense of shared humanity can emerge. It's in a shared understanding of this vulnerability that true empathy can flourish. If I know that you, too, carry the burden of your own unique existence, and that you, too, yearn for understanding despite the inherent divide, then a bridge can be built, not over the chasm itself, but between two individuals who stand bravely at its edge. Yalom's therapeutic approach encourages patients to confront this aloneness, not to wallow in it, but to use it as a catalyst for deeper self-reflection and more authentic engagement with others. It's about accepting the limits of connection while simultaneously striving for its deepest possible form. This understanding is a cornerstone, the bedrock upon which all subsequent, genuine connections can truly be forged. It's the uncomfortable but necessary truth that sets the stage for meaningful human interaction, recognizing that only when we cease our flight from our singular existence can we truly reach out and touch another's. Having confronted the inherent aloneness of existence, the next crucial step on the path to genuine connection demands an act of profound courage, the unmasking of the self, or the willingness to embrace vulnerability. This isn't merely about sharing a secret or admitting a flaw. It's about daring to drop the elaborate defenses and carefully construct the facades we present to the world, allowing our authentic, often messy, selves to be seen. Irvin Yalom, throughout his extensive work, consistently emphasizes that true intimacy and therapeutic breakthrough arise not from a polished presentation, but from the raw, unedited revelation of one's inner landscape. He often illustrates this through the courageous acts of his patients who, in the safe confines of the therapeutic relationship, dare to expose fears, shame, and desires they had long hidden, even from themselves. Think of a patient in a Yalomian therapy session, perhaps one detailed in the gift of therapy, who has spent a lifetime perfecting an image of strength and self-sufficiency. They meticulously control their emotions, never admitting fear or doubt. For such an individual, the mere suggestion of expressing uncertainty or admitting a mistake can feel like an existential threat, akin to stepping off a cliff. Yet, Yalom would gently guide them toward that precipice, understanding that only by risking exposure can they discover the liberating truth that their authentic self, despite its perceived imperfections, is not only acceptable but capable of inspiring deeper connection. This process is inherently terrifying precisely because it involves relinquishing control over how others perceive us. We fear judgment, rejection, ridicule, or even exploitation. These are the very fears that build the invisible walls around our hearts, keeping us safe but perpetually isolated. Yalom's work, particularly in his insights into group therapy, vividly demonstrates how vulnerability, when reciprocated, becomes a powerful catalyst for connection. When one person in a group dares to share a painful memory or a deeply personal struggle, often creates a ripple effect. Others, witnessing this courageous act, feel permission to shed their own masks, recognizing a shared humanity in the raw honesty. This is where the concept of universality truly comes alive, the sudden, powerful realization that I am not alone in this. As Yalom often points out, this shared vulnerability transforms mere acquaintances into genuine companions on life's journey. It's not the grand achievements or the perfect facades that bind us, but the shared experience of imperfection and the willingness to bear witness to each other's struggles. The courage of vulnerability also extends to the therapeutic relationship itself. Yalom often speaks of the importance of the therapist's own authenticity and willingness to be a real person in the room, not just a blank screen. While maintaining professional boundaries, he advocates for a relational stance where the therapist, too, might share appropriate personal reactions or insights, modeling the very vulnerability they encourage in their patients. This genuine human exchange fosters a unique bond of trust, making it safer for the patient to venture into their own emotional depths. It's a testament to the idea that connection is a two-way street, built on mutual, albeit asymmetrical, openness. In a world increasingly driven by curated online personas and the pressure to project an image of perfection, the call for vulnerability feels more radical and necessary than ever. It's an invitation to dismantle the performance, to step out from behind the carefully constructed filters, and to simply be. This act of unmasking is not a sign of weakness. It is, in fact, an ultimate display of strength. The strength to face one's fears, to trust another with one's genuine self, and to believe that the potential for profound connection outweighs the risk of rejection. Only when we dare to expose our inner landscape can we invite others to truly see us, and in that seeing, discover the genuine connection we deeply crave. This courageous step transforms the theoretical understanding of isolation into a living, breathing practice of human togetherness, paving the way for the mirror relationship to begin reflecting back profound truths. After daring to unmask the self through vulnerability, we arrive at a powerful and often revelatory stage on the path to genuine connection, experiencing a mirror of relationship. This concept, deeply embedded in Irvin Yalom's approach to therapy, particularly his work with groups, highlights how our interactions with others serve as crucial reflections, allowing us to see aspects of ourselves that remain hidden in isolation. We often walk through life with a self-perception built on assumptions, past experiences, and internal narratives, many of which may be incomplete or distorted. It is through the eyes of others, through their reactions, feedback, and shared perceptions, that we gain a more accurate, nuanced, and ultimately empowering understanding of who we truly are. Imagine a scene from a Yalomian group therapy session, as described in books like The Theory and Practice of Group Psychotherapy. A patient, perhaps one who perceived themselves as perpetually overlooked or insignificant, might share a deeply personal story. As they speak, other group members respond, not with empty platitudes, but with genuine reactions. One might express profound empathy, another surprise at the patient's courage, and yet another might share a similar experience, acknowledging a shared feeling. In that moment, the patient receives a mosaic of reflections. I am seen. My experience resonates with others. I am not invisible. This immediate, direct feedback shatters their old, limiting self-narrative. It's not the therapist telling them they are seen. It's the lived experience of being seen by multiple individuals in real time. This interpersonal learning, as Yalom calls it, is incredibly potent because it bypasses intellectual understanding and goes straight to experiential truth. The mirror can reflect both our strengths and our blind spots. Sometimes, others see a kindness in us that we dismiss as weakness or resilience we've taken for granted. Conversely, they might also reflect patterns of behavior or communication styles that we are completely unaware of, perhaps a tendency to interrupt, to monopolize conversations, or to project our anxieties onto others. These here and now interactions within a safe, therapeutic environment provide an invaluable opportunity for immediate corrective feedback. If a patient consistently avoids eye contact, for example, a group member might gently point out, not as a criticism, but as an observation about the impact it has on their ability to connect. This direct, caring confrontation, impossible to replicate in isolation, allows for self-correction and growth in a way that mere introspection cannot. Yalom frequently stresses that the group becomes a social microcosm, a miniature representation of the patient's external world. The relational patterns that emerge within the group often mirror those that play out in their daily lives. By observing these patterns and receiving feedback on their impact, individuals gain insight into their interpersonal dynamics and the ways they inadvertently push others away or create distance. A patient who struggles with authority figures might find themselves reacting similarly to the group leader. A person who fears intimacy might subtly sabotage developing connections within the group. When these dynamics are brought to light through the mirroring process, they offer a powerful opportunity for change. The group provides a laboratory for experimenting with new ways of being and relating, allowing the individual to integrate these insights into their broader life. This process of seeing ourselves through others' eyes is not always comfortable. It can be challenging to confront aspects of ourselves that we'd rather deny. Yet, it is precisely in this discomfort that genuine growth occurs. Yalom teaches that embracing this reflection, even when it's unflattering, is a courageous act of self-acceptance. It's an acknowledgement that we are fundamentally social beings, shaped and understood in relation to others. The genuine connection that emerges from this process is not built on illusion or performance, but on a grounded, realistic understanding of who we are, informed by the authentic perceptions of those around us. It transforms the act of connection from a mere social exchange into a profound journey of self-discovery, leading naturally into the need for more meaningful dialogue. Once we navigated the initial discomfort of confronting existential isolation, unmasked our authentic selves through vulnerability, and gained insight from the mirroring of relationships, the path to genuine connection naturally leads us to a crucial frontier, moving beyond small talk to cultivate meaningful dialogue. In a world often dominated by superficial exchanges, where conversations skim the surface of pleasantries and practicalities, the ability to engage in exchanges that are honest, empathetic, and truly explore the deeper human experience becomes an art form. Irvin Yalom, through his therapeutic practice and writings, consistently champions the power of such profound conversations, recognizing them as the very crucible in which genuine human connection is forged. Consider the pervasive nature of small talk in our daily lives. We chat about the weather, weekend plans, or current events. These exchanges serve a social function, creating a comfortable veneer, but they rarely delve into the anxieties, hopes, fears, or genuine struggles that animate our inner lives. For Yalom, therapy itself is a masterclass in meaningful dialogue. He doesn't engage in polite chatter with his patients. He dives directly into the core issues that bring them to his office. He asks probing questions that invite reflection, listens with intense, non-judgmental presence, and encourages patients to articulate feelings and thoughts they may have never voiced before. This is the model for the kind of dialogue we seek to cultivate beyond the therapeutic setting. The shift from small talk to meaningful dialogue requires a deliberate choice and a willingness to be present. It's about being truly curious about the other person, not just waiting for your turn to speak. Yalom often highlights the importance of the here and now in therapy, focusing on the immediate feelings and interactions within the room. This principle can be applied to everyday conversations. Instead of asking "how are you" as a mere greeting, what if we genuinely pause, made eye contact, and listen intently for an authentic answer, even if it's "I'm having a tough day"? And what if we, in turn, offer a more honest response and "fine" when asked the same? This simple shift in intention can transform a fleeting exchange into a moment of genuine human contact. Meaningful dialogue also involves a courageous commitment to honesty, both with oneself and with the other person. This doesn't mean brutal frankness, but a willingness to share one's genuine thoughts and feelings, even when they are complex or uncomfortable. Yalom's case studies frequently depict patients grappling with the truth, often discovering it through the process of articulating their internal landscape. For instance, in When Nietzsche Wept, the fictionalized dialogues are rich with philosophical and psychological exploration, demonstrating how profound questions and honest self-inquiry can lead to transformative insights. These characters aren't just talking. They are wrestling with ideas, challenging assumptions, and revealing their innermost selves through the power of conversation. Furthermore, cultivating meaningful dialogue demands empathy, the capacity to understand and share the feelings of another. It's about listening not just to the words, but to the emotions underlying them, and attempting to step into the other person's shoes. This deep listening creates a space of acceptance and understanding where the other person feels safe enough to open up. When we truly listen, we are affirming the other's worth and their experience, which in turn fosters trust and deepens a bond. This active, engaged listening is a cornerstone of Yalom's therapeutic approach, as he believes that being genuinely heard is one of the most powerful healing experiences. Ultimately, moving beyond small talk is about recognizing that every interaction holds the potential for deeper connection. It's about choosing to invest in those possibilities, to ask the questions that matter, to share the truths that resonate, and to listen with an open heart. This shift transforms our relationships from transactional to relational, building bridges of understanding that stand strong against the ever-present threat of isolation. It prepares the ground for us to truly be with another, a concept at the heart of Yalom's approach. Having navigated the depths of existential isolation, courageously unmasked the self, gleaned insights from the relational mirror, and learned to cultivate meaningful dialogue, the path to genuine connection culminates in a profound act of presence, being truly with another. In a world rife with distractions, from the constant ping of notifications to the endless stream of thoughts, the ability to offer one's undivided attention and be fully attuned to another human being is a rare and profoundly healing gift. Irvin Yalom considers this deep, empathic presence a cornerstone of effective psychotherapy, believing that the very act of being genuinely with a patient, attending to their pain, their joy, their silence, and their words is often the most potent therapeutic force. Imagine a scene perhaps echoing those found in Yalom's The Gift of Therapy, where a patient is recounting a painful memory. They speak of loss, regret, or fear. The therapist, instead of interjecting with advice or analysis, simply sits, fully present. Their gaze is steady, their posture open, their silence attentive. There's no fidgeting, no checking a clock, no hint of a wandering mind. This is not passive listening. It is active, engaged presence. In that space of deep attentiveness, the patient feels something powerful. They are seen, truly heard, and fundamentally accepted. This feeling of being held in another's unwavering presence can be incredibly validating and profoundly moving, providing a sense of safety that allows for deeper exploration and healing. It's in this moment of shared being that the isolating chasm begins to feel less vast, less terrifying. Yalom emphasizes that presence involves more than just physical proximity. It's an emotional and intellectual availability. It means putting aside our own agenda, our own judgments, and our own internal chatter to fully enter, even momentarily, the other person's world. This radical act of focusing entirely on another creates an authentic space where connection can flourish without interference. In a therapeutic context, Yalom might speak of a patient's overwhelming anxiety. Instead of jumping to cognitive restructuring or behavioral strategies, he might first simply be with their anxiety, acknowledging its intensity, mirroring it back, and allowing the patient to feel understood in their distress. This primary act of validation, born from presence, is often the very thing that helps the anxiety begin to dissipate or become manageable. In our everyday lives, cultivating the art of deep listening and focused attention can transform even mundane interactions into moments of genuine connection. How often do we engage in conversations while simultaneously checking our phones, planning our next response, or letting our minds drift? These subtle acts of inattention, while seemingly minor, communicate a lack of value and diminish the potential for true connection. Conversely, when we intentionally put away distractions, make eye contact, and truly listen, not just to respond, but to understand, we signal to the other person that they matter, that their words have weight, and that their presence is valued. This simple yet profound act creates a sense of belonging and mutual respect. The healing power of presence also lies in its capacity to foster empathy. When we are fully present with another, we open ourselves to truly perceiving their emotions, their unspoken needs, and the nuances of their experience. This allows us to respond not just intellectually, but emotionally and intuitively, deepening our understanding and our capacity for compassionate interaction. As Yalom's work implicitly demonstrates, the ability to be fully with another, perhaps the ultimate antidote to existential isolation, transforming the inherent separateness into a shared journey, even if only for a brief, powerful moment. It is this unwavering presence that lays the groundwork for practical steps towards deeper, more authentic human connection. Having navigated the complex terrain of existential isolation, dare to unmask ourselves through vulnerability, glean vital insights from the relational mirror, engage in meaningful dialogue, and cultivate a profound power of presence, we arrive at the culmination of our journey, building bridges, not walls, through practical steps to deeper connection. It's one thing to understand these concepts intellectually. It's another to weave them into the fabric of our daily lives. Irvin Yalom, the master clinician, would insist that true change happens not just in the therapist's office, but in the sustained application of these principles in the messy, beautiful reality of human interaction. This final topic synthesizes our exploration into actionable strategies, transforming profound psychological insights into concrete behaviors that foster authentic human bonds. First and foremost, the practical application begins with conscious intention. In a world that often encourages distraction and superficiality, making a deliberate choice to seek deeper connections is paramount. This means actively looking for opportunities to move beyond pleasantries. Instead of defaulting to small talk, choose to ask an open-ended question that invites a more personal response, such as, "What's been on your mind lately?" Or, "What's something you're passionate about?" As Yalom often highlights, the therapeutic process itself is a deliberate act of seeking depth, and we can bring that intentionality into our everyday relationships. Secondly, embrace vulnerability strategically and reciprocally. You don't have to spill your deepest secrets to everyone you meet, but look for moments where a small, authentic disclosure can open a door. Perhaps it's admitting a minor struggle, sharing a genuine feeling, or acknowledging a personal imperfection. The key is to offer vulnerability not as a cry for help, but as an invitation for mutual sharing. As Yalom's working group therapy shows, when one person takes the risk to be real, it often gives others permission to do the same, creating a virtuous cycle of openness and trust. This reciprocity is vital. Connection thrives when vulnerability is a shared dance, not a solo performance. Third, master the art of deep listening and presence. In our fast-paced society, true listening is a revolutionary act. When someone is speaking, resist the urge to interrupt, formulate your response, or allow your mind to wander. Put away your phone, make eye contact, and truly absorb their words, their tone, and their nonverbal cues. Practice reflecting back what you hear, not just the words, but the underlying feelings. It sounds like you're feeling really frustrated with that situation, rather than just, that's tough. This echoes Yalom's fundamental belief that being truly with another person is the most potent healing force. When people feel profoundly heard and seen, they feel valued, and connection deepens organically. Fourth, cultivate empathy through genuine curiosity. Yalom's therapeutic approach is saturated with empathy, the ability to step into another's shoes and understand their world from their perspective. In practical terms, this means asking clarifying questions not to interrogate, but to understand more deeply. What was that like for you? Or, can you tell me more about how that affected you? Seek to understand why behind their feelings and behaviors, rather than rushing to judgment. This empathetic curiosity dissolves barriers and fosters a profound sense of mutual understanding. Finally, commit to consistency and courage. Building genuine connections is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process that requires consistent effort and a willingness to step outside our comfort zones. It means showing up for others, even when it's inconvenient, offering support when it's needed, and daring to engage in the sometimes uncomfortable honesty that true intimacy demands. As Yalom often suggests, growth happens at the boundary of comfort and discomfort. Each small act of intentional connection, each moment of genuine presence, each vulnerable share, contributes to dismantling the invisible walls we've built and constructing robust bridges of human connection. By actively applying these Yalom-inspired principles, we transform the abstract yearning for connection into a lived reality, enriching our lives and the lives of those around us. If this deep dive into genuine connection resonated with you, imagine the transformative power these insights can bring to your own life and relationships. Don't let these powerful ideas simply fade away. Subscribe to our channel for more profound explorations of the human experience, practical tools for self-growth, and ongoing inspiration. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video designed to help you build deeper, more meaningful connections. Join our community and continue your journey beyond isolation with us.